And then on DAZN, there was the main event. I think is what we need to talk about. Bam Rodriguez.
Hey, I believe our what we said about him aged pretty well, pretty quickly, didn't it? Remember last time we talked about him, we said he's a surefire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 How about this is for a fun fact. This is gonna hit you guys. I don't think you know this yet.
Okay.
He was born in 2000.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
He's a world champion. He was born in
He's the
2000.
first one. Sean.
From the year of Cisco.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Unleash the Dragon. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? He's the first like millennium.
Yeah.
Champion?
I don't know. That when I saw that, I was like, okay.
Yeah, young kid.
Hey, we getting old.
Yeah. That was my thought. Oh, I'm old.
But no
I'll probably
one
be dead pretty
was
quick
really
here.
surprised, right, Dre? Like,
No.
Even though he's young and was moving up in weight. And
A week's notice or a week and a half.
They
notice?
put him in that fight, and I was like, that's a problem. Quadras doesn't have any time to prepare for that. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
They was not protecting Quadras for that fight. They put Bam in there, and they knew what they were doing. Eddie knew what he was seeing. I wasn't surprised by that result one bit.
He is. We talked about it before, and we joked about it on the last fight where he fought outside in L.A. where they kept referring to him as Lomachenko. Right. And I was watching some yesterday. I was like, he got a little Lomachenko. They brought me in. They pulled me in.
We watching the fight at my house on the big screen.
Yeah.
He watching the fight on his chest.
Yeah,
Falling in love.
I was gonna say,
Falling in love.
you could see the emojis coming.
It was on his belly.
Yeah, it was on my belly.
Yeah.
It was on my belly for
Love.
sure. I was leaning back like
He
this.
said, "Hey, can I hook it up to your TV?" I said, "Hey man, do whatever you want to do."
because we were between fights. And I
Hey,
was like,
does your phone? Can you prop it up like
Hey,
that?
chill out, man.
No,
Chill out.
Did I go
Don't
too
say I'm
far?
putting a bottle.
Sizes.
A
I
bottle
go too
of-
far.
Your sizes.
Yeah, no, but I was seriously sitting there, and then it was between fights, and I turned to Ant and I said,
Did you really put your hands?
Yo.
"No, I had my hand. I was holding it. My stomach helped secure.
You were
helped
not
secure
holding. You were like this, and it was standing up. He was like this, Sean, and it was standing
Was I
up.
sitting like that? But then we're between fights, and I said to Ant very calmly, I said, "Can I throw it on the big screen?" And he was like, "Yeah, you got it."
Said falling in love, huh?
Yeah, so we threw it up there and watched a little bit before we ended up getting to the.
Saw all the pivots you needed to see.
Oh yeah,
All
he
the
was
pivots.
hyped. He was hyped. Hey, it's to the point where we almost missed the main event. I'm like, "Hey, is that a fight on?" I don't know. I'm like, hold on.
I said,
He always knows.
and I said, "Who's fighting? Who's fighting again?" Oh, that little Keith Thurman fight. Yeah, we didn't turn that on, but
He went after.
he is electric.
He
Bam
went
Rodriguez,
after the
yeah.
bigger guy for all 12 rounds. He was the one coming forward, despite he fight at 108, but he's really a 112.
Yeah.
But in Quadras, he walked through some shots too. He had his face busted up a little bit, had blood coming down his face, and he showed it all. And he's gonna get so much better from this fight. He's gonna be the definition of you get twice as good once you become champion.
Yeah.
And he shows
knock-
every
and
punch
then-
in the arsenal.
Hey, that knockdown, little step to the side, uppercut,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah, man. He's the successor to Chocolatito, man.
Yeah, and I don't know where he ends up or where he prefers to end up. If he's gonna stay at 115, he should, but he still is a little guy for 115 because you could see you're watching that yesterday. And it's like he's a 108 pounder, like he's a small guy.
He should go to 112, do your thing there, but all the money's at 115.
115, yeah.
So
If he can naturally, I mean, you can talk about it because you mentioned it last week with Barrios, where maybe if he just stays at 15, he can settle into his weight, or what do you think? Should he go back to 112 as the middle, then go up to 15?
It's hard to say, especially because he's a young fighter.
Yeah, 22.
So while he's young, he can still, for the sake of words, stress his body. We hate for a guy to have to stress himself to make a weight, but and even if it isn't stress, I think that if he's still making that weight consistently, stay there, get some experience there, and then move and then work your way up. The other thing about it too is people love to see multi weight champions, multi-division champions. You know what I mean? So even from that standpoint, if he can, carry that weight for a little while longer and get that experience, win some belts.
Do you think 112 makes more sense than 108? Maybe just go down one.
Well, guess what?
All the way back to 108.
The further up he goes, the more eyes are going to be watching him.
True.
So
Yeah,
that's what I would encourage him
Especially
to do,
those
is
guys,
to
yeah.
eventually move up where you can be seen
we
with
can
more
fight
money.
Estrada and Chocolatito. And so, I mean, I'd even love it if somehow he could grow into 118 and fight Inoue one day. That would be amazing. But
What would you do?
My face would melt. I wouldn't even know what to think in that moment. But
he's a great, humble kid, too.
Yeah.
Bam Rodriguez. So
they posted, I believe Robert Garcia, who trains him, posted a video 10 years ago where he got in the ring at Nonito's
With Donaire.
media day.
And Donaire's like, yeah, he's going to be good.
And he's literally a kid. He's
10.
He's 12 at that point.
Yeah.
And gets in there. He's this little kid. He's throwing whatever. And Nonito kind of co-signed him, and then 10 years later.
No, but Nonito kind of gave a serious, he's going to be good. He didn't just go like, good job, little man.
Yeah.
Like, he looked at the trainer after he threw a couple jabs, like, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I don't got to keep showing him nothing. He's good. Yeah, so.
You see it like that sometimes.
Special
too.
kid.
Somebody ever told that to you?
Yeah. I never, and especially when I was young, like I didn't want to be a world champion. I didn't want. So when people would say that, I was just like, I'm gonna do this until I go to the NFL. You know what I mean? Like as a kid. But you do see that the one that comes to mind for me is Montana Love.
Okay.
As a kid, like he was a badass. He was running around in all of the fights, getting in trouble, all that kind of stuff. But when you got him to settle down at the gym and work, nobody could wait for him to turn 8 years old so that he could start fighting.
Was it kind of like
Natural
Bruce Carrington a little bit? You mentioned he was kind of running around those fights in Brooklyn. Like
Bruce was much older though,
at
when
the
I
time.
saw
Yeah.
when I saw Bruce. But yeah, I mean, like I knew Bruce's commitment level is what made me feel like want to get behind him.
Mr. Carrington.
Yeah, Mr. Carrington.
Shoo.
Yeah, that's what made me want to get behind him. Like you could just see, like the degree of separation between good and great is very, very minimum. And there's things for me. What I believe is there's things you can see that will make you believe somebody's gonna be great, and then there's things that you can't see that you know that someone can be great. So Bruce, just for an example, never saw him box, but the way he was moving around in New York every time we were there was like, this dude loves this.
Yeah.
And then I asked him his goals, his aspirations. He had it all like in his da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, man, you'll get there, man. Just keep going.
You know how dedicated he was? He saw in the future, said, one day I want to be on the Porterweight podcast. The podcast didn't even exist yet, 10 years before it happened.
Whatever.
But we got him on there.
Whatever.
The zone card, though, Bam held it down, first world title.
What's up? I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Ant. Follow me on IG, Ant with 2 T's. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
All right. Just introduce yourself.
Okay.
And then you tell them what to do. I'm Showtime Shawn Porter.
I'm Anthony Brenagh.
Carson Merk. Like, subscribe, comment.
This is the Porter Way.